it. Ooh, Arc Warden. All right. Things are really getting funky now. J.Storm picks the Arc Warden, the Resolution Arc Warden. Nice.
Yeah, I think the Crystal Maiden is probably there just to enable the Arc even more in lane. Just able to spam out that Flux, spam out the Spark Wraiths. And he's just, if you're in a one-on-one matchup, it's just so painful against the Arc Warden. So,
5 seconds
yeah, I think he's going to have a great game, if I'm honest.
That bubble's really good this game right now, too, specifically against a hero like Drow. So it's not surprising, but again, J.Storm is just getting answers for Drow after it's first picked quite a bit. So
I mean, it is worth noting that Vengeful Spirit is one of those heroes who's able to access the back line with that swap. So then, if things and fights do go as Beast Coast want, you'll be looking for this Venge to find the real Arc Warden who's trying to hide out and then burst him down with the damage and the Scythe on Necrophos. So that is a possibility for the side of Beast Coast if fights go very much their way. And he is a hero I'm surprised has made it this far through the draft.
Yeah, this actually is a really good Nyx game. Spiked Carapace does quite a bit this game for sure.
Yeah, Doom has that Scorched Earth. Arc Warden has those uncontrollable Spark Wraiths. It's going to be very easy to set up stunts on that Arc. So Nyx, a very good counter to the Arc Warden here. So if you're J.Storm, you might not have as free a game as you were thinking. So yeah. I really like this pick of the Nyx. He's on my my list of heroes who are either pick banned in the first phase, and I'm so surprised he's made it through to the second pick phase.
Yeah, only so much you can do, of course. So they focused very heavy on the mid options, which, as of right now, you figure they don't have yet if you're Beast Kill, so they even ban one more. They ban out the Ember Spirit. So Ryoya's hero list is definitely going down there quite a bit. As far as going to have to choose something. I mean, like a Shadow Fiend comes to mind as a more typical one, but
yeah, it's Ember Spirit, another one of those heroes who is able to access the backlines, and we talked about this. They want to be able to have their Arc Warden sitting in the back, able to spam his Spark Wraiths, output all his damage. So the Ember Spirit, another one who would be able to get on top of him, and you don't want to let that through, do you?
No. Man, I'm sitting here, though, like, what are they going to mid-pick? Ooh, they ban a Dazzle. Interesting ban there. J.Storm fearing the mid-Dazzle. So is that a telling of what they may go here?
I'm having a look, and I see that Ryoya recently he's played the Templar Assassin or the Death Prophet. No, the TA. There we go. I got it first time.
Okay. No, that makes sense on the Dazzle ban then, for sure. So
yeah, also versus the Arc Warden, his Spark Wraiths, which are most of his annoying point, they are one single point of damage, and Flux, you just stand next to your creep wave, so not a great way to dispel the refraction charges this game.
Yeah. You mentioned Death Prophet though as a possibility, and looking at it, it seems I guess again Nyx is also really annoying against her, but overall you kind of almost just want to accept that, I suppose, this game.
Yeah, at some point you have to not be so afraid of the Nyx and just pick what you think is good, because otherwise you wouldn't pick any hero that has any AoE at all, just because you might get hit by a Spike Carapace. So eventually, when you're drafting, you do have to get over the fears and think, no, this is good for all these reasons. Just because it has this one minor down point, it isn't a reason not to pick the hero. And you're right about the Death Prophet. It burns through refraction charges with that Spirit Siphon. It enables you to push very heavily if you're on the side of J.Storm. It's a pretty tanky hero.
Their building right now is a little weaker. That's now Arc Warden late game, of course, its building's great, but
Admiral Kunkka. Choose your hero.
They go Kunkka for their mid matchup. So it's going to be Brow's Kunkka versus the Ryoya Templar Assassin.
So this is a very interesting mid matchup here, because obviously Kunkka's how you usually think of them is they're getting that harass with the Tidebringer. That's not possible versus a Templar Assassin. She's just going to eat that up with refraction charges, and she might be the one able to output some damage with those side blades. But it is worth noting that you land one torrent, there's no refraction charges anymore. So both these heroes, they have kill potential on each other. So it's a very skill-based matchup. So it's going to be exciting to watch.
It is Fear on the Crystal Maiden. So more of a position for Crystal Maiden. Also, shout out to his cosmetics. That thing is shiny, man. Remaining. It's a cool Crystal Maiden skin there.
Yeah, looking like a true princess she is there.
Yeah. So that's intriguing, though, to see again. Batten has been played as that position 5, though, quite a bit. You can kind of sacrifice him and get away with it. So see Crystal Maiden get a little more farm this game. See what Fear makes of that. Good setup, of course, for a hero like Kunkka. Speaking of the Torrents and Frostbite in place. Sets up those Torrent combos. But yeah, the Arc Warden setting up to have a decent game. Nyx Assassin, I don't know, TMT, it seems like going to be in his hands as far as having high impact moving around the map, because across the board, it is a pretty strong Nyx Assassin game here for Beast Coast.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right saying it's in the hands of TMT, because I think Beast Coast, they have the Templar Assassin. They feel like they are the ones who want to be turning up the pressure onto J.Storm. They don't want to let Resolution get this absolute free farm. So I think Beast Coast, they're the ones who have to hit this strong mid-game timing. And with their Drought and their Templar Assassin, there is a real possibility to do that. But all in all, I think after what we saw from J.Storm Game 1, I think my money has to be on them.
Yeah, they looked like the cleaner team for sure. Now, again, we've seen plenty of games over time where one team looks pretty bad the first game, and then all of a sudden, obviously drafts matter and can be telling of how a game's going to go, and just your mindset if you get off to a slower start. So would not be the most surprising thing in the world if we have a game 3 after this is all said and done. But yes, I do tend to agree with you that right now J.Storm, especially after that first game, looks like the stronger team. But we'll see if they can pull it off. As you mentioned, Brax also on his Necrophos, another comfortable hero that he's been playing a bit of lately. Is got the high fives going early on, the good teamwork camaraderie there.
Yeah, I think that's good from Beast Coast. I mean, they show, even though it was a quick game for the side of J.Storm, they just feel they were outdrafted by the Aquas, they were outdrafted by the Sven. So, they're willing to take the Drow Ranger again. They're not mentally defeated. They're still having fun. So I think Beast Coast, they have a real chance here. They haven't, mentally GG'd in their head, and I think they have a real chance, and I'm excited to see what they're able to accomplish.
And the winner of this, playing the winner of the Complexity series over there, Complexity versus Young Drug Gaming. That's on the second BTS stream, if I'm not mistaken, so I'll keep you guys updated with that one, but that'll be the winner bracket finals, and that'll be next here on this stream once both of these series do conclude. So the runes to come, and looks like it's going to be your 2-for-2 split. Right now, Beast Coast, yet again, setting up aggressive trial lane. You already have Doom down here in the hands of Moo. He's got a Sentry Ward even on him.
The battle begins.
We'll see if he's able to make use of that.
Yeah, I think the idea here is obviously he's afraid that they're going to be blocking out his big camp over here, because versus Moo, once you see his here, you're going to be either sending the support to the camp to stop it spawning or having some sort of ward in it. So yeah, they're just preemptively giving him the ward, so he's hopefully able to get his big creep online, and if possible, that's Satyr.
Eternal Envy doing his TP tricks. Once again, he actually TPs from the Tier 2 to the Tier 1 tower to make sure to get that block, as he was cut off by the Crystal Maiden ImbaTV. And the range creep goes first, so Eternal Envy, though, he's going to need help right away, because guess what? Just like the first game, J.Storm is going to make his life a living hell right now. And we'll see if he's able to have a much better time. And also, how many resources Beast Coast puts into trying to make that happen. Because, I guess that's an argument you couldn't make from the last game. It's that they tried too much. They tried too hard to really make sure he had a great game with the supports constantly moving as well. And thus, the sacrifices happened elsewhere. So, for right now, you have Vengeful Spirit. He's currently staying bottom with the Necrophil. So, we'll see if that continues.
Yeah, I think Mikey might stick around until either they're able to give Brax a massive advantage or they get first blood on Moo. But until that point, Eternal Envy, he's having a very tough time here. The Abaddon, we didn't talk about it in the drop, but he's just so freaking good at pressuring. It's absolutely unfair. This miscall spam, something needs to be done about it, and probably will be after these qualifiers.
Well, that patch set to come out soon, I believe. As yeah, it's supposed to come out after the qualifiers, right?
Yeah, it's after these minor qualifiers.
Yeah.
It's one of the rare few times that Valve have said, this is the exact time, this is when it's coming, and so until then, we know that the Abaddon is going to be overpowered.
Yeah, but after the patch, yeah, he's one of several, I'm sure, that'll get toned quite a bit. But yeah, again, this game too, factoring in the Crystal Maiden, the Arcane Aura, which is leveled up right there as she hits level 2, so plenty of mana regen to work with, and you see him sniping the neutral creep there with that mist coil. So harassing in many different ways is Abaddon. But again, the vengeful support still sticking bottom, is zoning out Moo the best that he can as he takes the Infernal Blade to the face. So he's going to drop quite a bit as throws out the Magic Missile though, and Brax now running in with the Death Pulse ready, so Moo has to run back. So clearly some mind games going on there.
Yeah. IX Mike, a very nice thing he's done. If you look here, this camp, it still hasn't spawned. Every time it comes up to the minimark, he's just making sure. And that's why Moon, even though he's got 2 points in Devour, doesn't have that extra creep aura.
Yeah, good point. Gonna take some more pressure right there. But yeah, here we go. 10 more seconds. IX Mike heading on over. So yeah, Sentry Ward placed down to counter if a ward was there, but that's not the case. I don't know if there was one earlier. There might have been, actually. There's only one ward down currently. But yeah, once again, he blocks it. So not giving Doom the best options.
Yeah, and in this mid lane, you're seeing the Templar Assassin. Even though she's not ahead on CS, she's definitely ahead of on denies. Because Kunkka, he can no longer use that Tidebringer for denies. Whereas Templar Assassin, her bonus damage works for both CSing and denies. So a little bit advantage here of the TA.
Yeah, slight lead, 18-4 compared to 16-0 now. Again, circumstances a bit different as March denies himself, but point is, Ryu did have a great start last game on the DK. Again, it was Bryal playing Alchemist, though, and he just recovered in the jungle and throughout. Kunkka, you know, expects maybe some movement, if anything, earlier on if he finds himself really struggling, but not necessarily the case. As TP bottom lane, March comes in with that Mist Coil. He's also got the Aphotic Shield. We'll throw that up, and Moo starts running at both the heroes now. Gonna chase after Necrophos, in fact, as Brax cuts through the trees. He could be in trouble still. In fact, kind of turning back in right there. Bit of a stutter step, trying to juke around. Inferno Blade hits, though. Ticking down. Some more Mist Coil spams. Moo trying to stay on top. The Scorched Earth has worn off by now. And Inferno Blade still on a 7-second cooldown, so Moo's not going to be able to chase far enough. But with Abaddon showing up, that definitely changes how this lane could work.
Yeah, we see how much Moo has been suffering down here in the 2v1, but he still managed not to feed away First Blood, get decent levels, and now with the help of Abdon, he's, you know, we can see he's willing to test the wave against Brax. But because Abdon's rotated away, we might see that Eternal Envy has a better time in top lane, but just to be say that TMT, he's going to give away First Blood.
Yeah, that was the Frostbite into the Flux from Arc Warden, and the Spite Carapace, even though he had it, they just didn't care. Spark Wraith going to be dodged by Eternal Envy. That's pretty big. He places another one. Eternal Envy's doing his greatest, though, to make sure he does not get hit by them. And yeah, he's going to get a salve as a result, too, with Nyx Assassin coming in. So very good play by Eternal Envy there. Not die, but meanwhile, the Bounty Rune control, it is going to be a 3-for-1 favoring J.Storm. Thanks, Mike, thankfully, for Beast Coast able to get the bottom one at least to prevent it from being the 4-0.
I love that from all these really good teams. We're seeing around the 5-minute mark just before. That's when they switch on the aggression, you know, so that teams, they're running away from bounties, they're running away from those spots. So, you know, even if you don't get a kill, you force the other team away. And it's just taking these timings around there. So, you know, you didn't get the kill on Eternal Envy, but you forced him right back onto his tower. So it's great play.
Yeah, and you see plenty of pulling happening at this top wave. I feel like I've seen it at least like 3 different times now, if not more. He's just really trying to make use of the best CS that he can, and it's a struggle just like last game. But I feel like it's at least better. He hasn't died yet. That's the biggest thing. And he has 17-7 right now. But Arc Warden also feeling pretty good though. 23-15 denies that he's worked with. Middle lane, by the way. Thanks, Mike. He's going to get comboed here. A double TP from the supports. They are going to go for the Vengeful Spirit in the end, as TA just has to walk away. So they go for the easy kill.
Yeah, the side of J.Storm, they're the ones thinking about getting aggressive with IX Mike, but they had March sitting in the trees already prepared, and they just TP in the CM, and Kunkka with his level 6. It's such an easy kill for them.
Doom has picked up a Satyr now and has the regen as a result. Also that Hadouken, or the Shockwave, as it's appropriately called. Crystal Maiden wrapping around top lane. Eternal Envy diving resolution, but Fear is here to help out. And Drow Ranger, you are dead, good sir. Good ma'am, whatever. TMT walking away. Has a Spite Carapace, only level 1 though. Does have also stick charges. Could come into play. Magic Missile hitting Arc Warden. Slows him down quite a bit. The Spark Wraith hits, and nice job with the Spite Carapace timing. TMT trying to get the turn, but Fear just out of range of that level 2 Impale. So she'll be fine as well. And Arc Warden will just go back to farming. But Drow mentioned, at least he hasn't died yet. Well, bit of a caster's curse, I suppose. A couple minutes later, bound to happen.
Yeah, it's an Eternal Envy actually rotating away from that lane now they have their full tri-lane here. And he's farming the jungle. And what's interesting about this is I don't think he can actually go to the lane where Brax is because, you know, Moo, we see he has his level 6. So Eternal Envy's easy food for this Doom. So I think he's just relegated to this jungle.
Resolution comes in. There's that Doom. Necrophos was at full life really to begin this, but again, being doomed up, he just can't get away. So that was, as I stated in the draft, the one worrisome thing with the Necrophos pick into the Doom is exactly that right there. And they cannot respond to it. So the free kill on Necrophos, obviously a good rotation from Resolution as he adjusts with the Drow rotation that you were just talking about.
Yeah, and that feels so bad for Beast Coast because Brax, they enabled his lane over the Doom, you know. They gave him a support, they put Moo down, and now he's got the kill. And if you look at the net worth, he's just even with the Necros. So all the time they spent sacrificing their Drow Ranger, protecting their Necros, it doesn't pay off.
That was a Reaper Scythe kill at the top lane, it looks like, between Necrophos and Vengeful Spirit. Meanwhile, TA double damage rune taking out a stack as TMT goes down at the bottom lane. But over here, Templar Assassin is being chased by Bryle. She was trying to maybe see what she can get away with at this stack, but realizing quickly that they saw what's up, so instead Kunkka will come over and begin to clear it. Even going to use that ghost ship, well worth the cooldown. Only 60 seconds after all, a couple Tidebringer procs. He'll eventually dwindle it down. Not the fastest ever, but he'll get it.
Yeah, he had a double damage rune on the Templar Assassin, so he thought he'd be able to take it. But, you know, they quickly identified that he was here, and they weren't going to let him have Bryle's prize of these big ancients.
Yeah, Moo's just running at Vengeful Spirit. The level 3 Scorched Earth cannot get away. And obviously Necrophos can't do much to stop that idea, so easy kill on the Vengeful. She is up quickly, though, thanks to being such a low level. As bottom lane, however, Resolution, he's got backup of Abaddon, does have Tempest double ready to go, just needs the recipe for the Hand of Midas, and that'll be online as well. So Resolution already up there competing with the best in net worth right now, and of course once that Midas comes in, definitely expect that better. Moo, top lane, they're diving, no Doom is ready, but they still want this kill without the Doom ability, however. I don't think it's going to happen, so just softening him up perhaps.
Yeah, I was going to say what's really interesting is what Moo has done with his build. Usually, you know, you see actual offlane Dooms go fully out into the Devour, but he's gone for the more Scorched Earth heavy build, and that means he wants to be the scratching, he wants to be on top of people, as we're seeing a fighter opt out here.
No Doom needed there, just the ship, the combo from Kunkka as he came over, and we just saw that before as well at the 5-minute rune fight. The 10-minute bounty runes now spawn, and sure enough, it backfires on a Beast Coast. So Arcane Rune able to be picked up by Eternal Envy, but I gotta say, there's a lot of similarities to last game here, man. It's the Drow's completely struggling. You have the mid hero, in this case Templar's hero. She's doing all right, but the 3 cores on the other side are all doing very good.
Yeah, because J.Storm, they did exactly the same thing. They ran a tri-lane into this Star Ranger. They pressured her, which they've been able to successfully. And Moo, who was the one who was sacrificed, he's ahead of the Necros who had a support. This is just not where you want to be if you're the Beast Coast side.
Thanks, Mike. No swap ready. He's only level 5. Is just chilling up here for the time being. I don't think Beast Coast is going to want to defend this even. So he'll just stay nearby, maybe soak up a little bit of experience. It doesn't have a TP, so that's probably the biggest reason. That's why IX Mike is playing so scared right now. But eventually the tower goes down, and we'll be able to make it out there in due time. Nyx Assassin is level 6, so you see the Vendetta currently active, as TMT is trying to find an opportunity. Can't do that, though. As look at the smoke play from Doom and Crystal Maiden wrapping around the middle lane, but somebody drew a line from the Dire team that actually was pretty much exactly spot on, so they clearly saw this.
Dire's middle tower is
yeah, Ryoya is really the shining light for the side of Beast Coast. He's going for the Desolator because he realizes his team are struggling so hard, so he might as well hit that big peak earlier on. But now they realize they were here, but just the Doom on top of the TA.
Yeah, she's in trouble. The Doom is taking her down. Eventually the Mystical hits, and the Infernal Blade Auto Attack finishes the job. Abaddon goes down to the Reaper side. He just buys back. He's like, all right, I'm good to go. And everyone's back up suddenly for the Radiant team. They also killed Vengeful Spirit, of course, in the meantime. And the back line, Sphere's running away from TMT. Necrophos is caught now. Doom was used earlier on Templar Assassin, though, so Brax is feeling pretty good. Also has that Hooded Defiant, so he is extra tanky. Nice dodge in the impale from Fear coming out. Just a little too fast. And Fear will be fine. So really a 2-for-1 trade, but clearly favoring J.Storm. And they're going to go right back to doing objectives. I don't even think Arc Warden was there, if I'm not mistaken. He was just doing his own thing, farming elsewhere.
Yep, Resolution continuing to farm the whole time. And, you know, they do manage to find the crown jewel in Beast Coast crown of the Ryoyo Temporal Assassin. But the thing I really have to praise about that fight is Fear on this Crystal Maiden, doing the most damage, just channeling the full ulti over here. It was brilliant. It was onto the Vengeful Spirit as well as the Temporal Assassin. So she had no chance of living. It was a really great positioning by him.
Moo wants to live. He's not going to do a good job with that, though. 3 heroes collapsing makes it very difficult. So good find there from Beast Coast, only their 3rd kill of the game, but they will take it. That's a 377 bounty gold going the way of Ryoyo, so pretty good right there. The Desolator well on its way for Templar Assassin. Of course, has the Blink Dagger queued up next even, so the iconic duo of items that we're used to seeing. I was going to mention a pipe this game for Beast Coast does feel pretty good, and sure enough, Necrophos does have the early hood. I wouldn't be surprised to see Brax rush a pipe this game with what they're up against.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much magic damage. Honestly, coming from everyone on the side of J.Storm, you're totally right. It is the necessary item here.
Vengeful Spirit playing that position 6, really, as IX Mike's tends to, just being the true support for the team. So can't expect many items out of him. But what is Drought going this game? The Dragonlance queued up. So last game, I believe, even had the 4 Wraith bands, and then with the BKB in Desperation. Bit of a change of pace here, at least a little better, as the Dragonlance again queued up, and I think that certainly makes sense.
Yeah, for the side of Beast Coast, they know it's not quite as bad as last game. There's no Alchemist who's just continuing to run at them. There's no massively silenced fan. So Eternal Envy, he realizes he can go for that more standard build-up. He can get items like the Dragonlance maybe into the full Hurricane Pike. But in the mid lane, they found TMT, and I think he might be able to get away there.
In fact, Necrophil's coming in. Reaper Scythe. You got to be careful there. Almost thought it was coming out for a second on Kunkka, but he had his support. The fail boat coming through. And ultimately, neither team chasing after the other, but it does seem like this is favoring J.Storm, similar to last game with the Alchemist, Arc Warden, with the Hand of Midas. Obviously, with the way that he can flash farm. He also has the Maelstrom just about finished. These 15-minute bounty runes, by the way. Arc Warden's going for the top one. Nyx Assassin in there with a spiked carapace, though. And he will get the stun to be able to pick it up. So this time it's a 2-for-2 bounty rune split. But yeah, especially once Arc Warden has that Maelstrom, that's where we really start to see Arc Warden accelerate.
So you're right if this goes like hyper late game. We definitely do favor J.Storm. I agree with you there. But when it gets this mid lane timing, Beast Coast are going to be very strong. And I think that's why we're not seeing that many engagements yet. They're just waiting for Ryoyo to have both the Desolator and the Blink Dagger. And I think that's the time when they're looking to take these fights. And I don't know if you've noticed, but the net worth, you know, it hasn't been moving forward for J.Storm. It's moved a little bit backwards in the line of Beast Coast. But in this mid lane, here's another engagement.
Yeah, that's a collapse, but it is a pipe this time. Doom up on Necrophos, so I don't think he's going to die from it, but he is going to be useless in this fight other than just running around. That's a big collapse for the Radiant side. The Centaur Stomp on top of the freezing field to our dead. The buyback from Nyx Assassin, but Templar Assassin, she went too deep. Doom still activated on Necrophos. It finally wears off, though, and looking to turn things now. Resolution just simply running, though. Mistcoil as well as the Aphotic Shield. He's more than tanky enough. March, no more borrowed timings. TMT is able to finish him off with a Vendetta auto attack. And they do turn for 2 support kills, but man, when you factor in that was a buyback on Nyx Assassin, once again a successful fight for J.Storm. You just see the freezing field damage. You mentioned previous fight from Fear. I guess this time wasn't crazy as impressive, but still. The AoE synergy was there, certainly.
Yeah, they have this massive synergy, and this time for the side of J.Storm, it was just absolutely cracking boat. Just that boat prior, it seemed to connect on everyone, just hitting all these Tidebringers. And now he has a DD bottle, so if another fight breaks out, it's going to be even better. But losing Ryoyo, once again, he was so close to his Blink Dagger that this is so costly for the side of Beast Coast because they really want to be hitting that strong mid-game timing, and it keeps getting put back again and again and again before they're able to take these fights.
So yeah, Necrophos, you mentioned the pipe earlier, it helped him stay alive, but unfortunately the whole team wasn't necessarily there and wasn't able to use it as the team, so didn't help in that sense. But Templar Assassin, StarLadder, of course, finished as she had in that previous fight, the Blink Dagger, and the BKB is that key timing. So yeah, back to your point earlier, sure, this Beast Coast lineup, the mid-game lineup of them, if things start connecting, especially with the Drow synergy, certainly still a lot of hope for Beast Coast. It's only a 2,000 net worth lead for J.Storm. They're looking for a play top lane, but Crystal Maiden's nearby, and thus Resolution. He's got help. In fact, they're going to return on a Brax now, back at half-life. Pop in that Ghost Shroud. The heals on top of it, does have his ultimate as well, but Browl will be fine. Brax still just trying to run, going to be pulled right back in with the Exo. The freezing go coming down, and Brax will eventually fall. They also happen to get the kill on IX Mike too, playing the Vengeful Spirit. So they thought they had a chance on Arc Warden, did Beast Coast. Turns out they lose too, and they get nobody.
Yeah, it's exactly as you say, Breaky. You know, they were the ones wanting to get aggressive. They had an Assassin sitting on top of that Arc Warden, but the CM, he scouts out the Necros first, and right behind him are the entire rest of his team, and just a quick, easy 2 kills once they're all caught out.
Level 3 Arcane Aura for Crystal Maiden. We cannot forget about that as a spectator. It's hard to tell sometimes, but that is constantly regenerating the mana of J.Storm. And what we stress is somewhat spammy heroes across the board. So they are certainly benefiting from that. As Nyx Assassin, he is going to run right by a Sentry Ward right there, but currently Vendetta active. He's going to run right into them. The dust comes out. This is what I was fearing for his sake. Crystal Maiden, though, trying to at least go for the turn. Drow Ranger from the downhill, but there's that bubble. Oh, he went out of the bubble, and he gets hit, but the Mist Coil actually comes in. It just wasn't enough damage. He stays alive. Eternal Enemy TP away. Get over here, let's say. X marks the spot put down, and Drow is dead. So 2 dead. I feel like I just said this with the deja vu moment. They try to go for kills themselves, and it backfires.
Yeah, there's just no getting away from this Admiral here of Bryle. Eternal Envy, you know, yeah, you kind of have to feel for the man. He wanted to get that little turnaround, maybe not save the life of TMT, but at least get the Crystal Maiden in return. But J.Storm, they just seem to be bringing more people to these fights.
The bubble. Clearly an issue for Drow Ranger, and it saves the Crystal Maiden. Almost did it in the end because he ran out of it the last second, but then again, Baden's there for the save as well. So the team support here. J.Storm, oh, what is this? Templar Assassin gets caught by Doom. Both the hero and the ability. She's
okay,
dead.
So I don't know how much of that you caught, but they were, J.Storm, they were invading this jungle. Mu even blinks forward and blind war stomps. It's not on front of the TA. And then she walks over here thinking she's safe in the meld, but they had the vision for her. And so he just instant doomed her while she thinks she's safe inside the meld. And then from there, it's an easy kill.
Yeah, so that ward was there just before. She just happened to go into a ward that was placed beforehand. Yeah, that's unfortunate right there for the Templar Assassin, but it goes back to, again, J.Storm just preemptively ready for what seems like all of these fights, and slowly but surely, we talked about it's maybe 1,000 net worth, maybe 2,000. Well, it's up to 7,000 now. So now we are starting to get to a point where J.Storm is feeling a little more cozy in this game and what they're dealing with. But I will say the Dota plus win probability is still nothing ridiculous. It's 63% for J.Storm, so certainly chances for Beast Coast stand. I want to go back to this Necrophos real quickly and talk about his potential next item. He's got the Radiance queued up. He's had it for a while. You think that would make sense here?
I mean, it's a very optimistic item. It's looking towards the scaling towards the late game and being actually a scaling Necrophos instead of, you know, like a utility as we often see from offlaners. And, you know, the fact that you're going for it, I think it might mean that you're giving up this mid game, but just as I say that, Beast Coast, they're going for a smoke. They're looking for a kill. They have the Blink Dagger. They have the Desolator. But they're not going to find anything.
Yeah. They're trying to bait out the Necrophos, but I think it's one of those cases, it's a little too obvious. J.Storm doesn't see anyone on the map. Necrophos is pushing past the river mid lane. It's like we know that these are good players, and obviously they experienced players, so they're likely not going to be doing that. So I'm pretty sure that's what we just saw right there with J.Storm's reaction, or lack thereof for that matter. But
so Breaky, Bryle has built a halberd. I know you despise that item.
I don't despise it. No. No, I think it's on a mid Kunkka. To me, it actually makes even a lot more sense. Again, that whole safe lane Sven threw me off a little bit, but I do think Halberd is a great item, and especially against a TA. Like, TA is fantastic again, so absolutely here.
Yeah, it's such a good lineup because, you know, all their damage dealers are ready and moved the Blink Warstomp Doom right here on top of the Necros, and he's not going to be able to survive at all, and they're looking for more.
Yeah, why not? Why would you stop? They just lost their big unit as far as there's just overall utility and being able to stand in these fights with the pipe and aura and everything, so it's Beast Coast doing their best to scramble away now, and J.Storm knows this. They want to try to catch somebody, maybe even TMT if they had the vision, but doesn't look like they do. They still have a double damage room bottled up on Kunkka throughout all this. But instead, they'll settle for a tier 2 tower, as we haven't even talked about Arc Warden. He's, by the way, has a full Mjolnir now, and he just picked up bots on top of that. So 2,000 more gold saved up towards a Butterfly, it looks like what he's thinking about next. Yeah, this Arc Warden, he is well online this game.
Yeah, Ryoya's doing a decent job with the split push, but I think they found TMT once again. Oh, actually, Nice and Pale is going to save his life, so good work there by him.
He'll settle for the Vengeful. She's going to be out for 30. But I go back to, we're just talking about the Heaven's Halberd, we're talking about the Butterfly coming out for Arc Warden. MKB for Templar Assassin, I feel like is a necessity here, but she needs the BKB first, so she's trying to finish that at least. Then maybe.
Yeah, I was going to say, you said we haven't talked about the Arc Warden for a while. That's exactly what Arc Warden games feel like, you know? The rest of his team, they create pressure on the map, and you forget there's an Arc Warden there, and then suddenly he turns up and he's slick sausage, and you're not able to do with him. And that honestly seems to be the case for the side of Beast Coast. He's been making the rest of his side that have just made all this space, fight all these kills every time there's a Doom. And now he's got so many items that anything he could wish for, he has.
Hurricane Pike even for the Drow Ranger. Has been finished, of course, for a bit, and she is going the BKB as well. So BKB for these cores is absolutely going to be good on the Dire side, as Ike's Mike ran into a bit of a trap, a.k.a. Doom, and I suppose Crystal Maiden and Abaddon also nearby to do work. That double damage Kunkka was busy farming elsewhere, but Roshan's still up. I mean, the first game, we didn't even see anyone attempt Roshan. It's a shorter game, of course. Game 2, we're about 25 minutes in. It's definitely something that J.Storm could think about, but I guess looking at their lineup, they're not like a fantastic Roshan team, so no point to force it.
I mean, you might be surprised, but you have the Abaddon as well as the Arc Warden, who are two pretty good heroes against the Roshan, because you can put the magnetic field around you, it speeds up your whole team's attack speed. And if you position it correctly, Roche isn't in it. And then you also get the silence, so Roche doesn't bash, as well as the increased attack speed. So it's deceptively powerful from the side of J.Storm, their objective taking now.
Yeah.
This'll come in handy.
I do like what this TA has been doing, though. Ryoya has just been living in this bottom lane. You can see the line of traps here. So this creep wave, it's not moving at all.
Yeah, notice those down there for a while, Ryoya. He's just needs to finish that BKB. In fact, it looks like he's got everything purchased. It's on the courier, which got to be very careful flying that out all the way over here. Oh, he's found. That's not good. He just tried to TP as well. That's just not good. And so that's on cooldown. They did not find her, though.
They're thinking of buying a gem on March, but he'll have the money for it soon.
Like they know she has to be somewhere in the area. What's being delivered? There is dust on there, but no, they've given up on trying to find her. They aren't aware that Ryoya went over here, so he's just gonna chill.
Yeah, so I think we're both in agreement that J.Storm, they feel like they're in control. But I don't think it's totally over for Beast Coast. We said they had a very strong mid-game lineup. But, you know, with Brax going for this Radiance, they do have the ability to scale into late game. If they do manage to... Oh. Eternal Envy.
Blind Torrent. What can you do, buddy? Not much else. Eternal Envy is dead. But yeah, to your point, I think the BKBs, now Drow's is even that much more delay, but BKB on Templar, yeah, the Radiance finish on Necrophil, so really these next couple of minutes is very key for Beast Coast. They need to have something go well for them, or else this game seems like it will get too out of hand, as a Butterfly is now finished for Arc Warden.
Yeah, with that completed Butterfly, they are going into the Roche Pit now with Resolution.
Can they defend this? Drow's up in 24. It's way too late. Yeah, they don't have any vision, so they have no guarantees. And that bubble you were mentioning, it's just so much amp damage. That Resolution especially is taken advantage of. So easy Roshan kill. That means an Aegis for the Arc Warden. And he is fully slotted at this point, at least. I guess he has a Wraith Band, so not necessarily, but just about there with the Aegis included. As BKB also purchased by Kunkka now.
I mean, before Wraith Bands were nerfed, you could call yourself 6-slotted when you had 6 of them.
Sure, yeah.
But Resolution, they're thinking about trying to get rid of this Aegis, but March, he's sitting right behind him.
Yeah, but he gets caught with the stun as well and cannot save him in the end as he uses cooldowns already. Borrow time pops though, but there's the Aegis coming up now. TMT, he's going to be one victim for sure. Pulled back in, he goes down. Can they get the TA? She popped her BKB. She was doomed up. So Crystal Maiden going to slow her down, put the stun up with the Frostbite, and you cannot get out of that. TA just has to accept death at that point. So an Aegis trade for 3 deaths. Let me check my papers. Yeah, that's not worth it.
Yeah, I agree with you that it's not financially worth it, but I think the idea here is they just need to buy time. They know they need Eternal Envy to get this BKB before they're able to defend high ground. And that, honestly, not having the Aegis, it might just let J.Storm back that little bit that buys Beast Coast the time to be able to take a successful fight. So I think that's why they went for that risky play. But now they're just, they finally managed to get the wave moving here in bottom.
I get the tier 1 with these. They still need a creep wave before they can get the tier 2, so that'll be the saving grace for Beast Coast right now, as far as this delay is concerned. You also see Arc Warden queuing up that BKB himself. I mentioned Kunkka just got his. Doom also is going, so this is a very popular BKB game for either side, in fact. Necrophos really the only core that's not looking to go a BKB in this game, but that's going to be a tier 2 tower kill, and that'll be the last outer tower remaining on the side of Beast Coast, so it's really just defending their base at this point, which easier said than done when you're up against an Arc Warden.
Yeah, it really feels like Beast Coast, they're taking advantage of the map while they have it, but J.Storm, they're now going to start getting down some very good wards. They have the gem on move, so you're going to start losing your vision on Beast Coast. And so this is their last few seconds before, their last few minutes before they're pinned in the base, it feels like.
Next assassin farm in the jungle down here. They have it a very aggressive ward. They're going to see Arc Warden. Who's that nearby? It's Drow. So can they kill Arc with this combo? There is no support.
I'm pretty sure you need the TA. They're thinking about it.
They're going to... yeah, they're not going to go for it.
Without the Temporal Assassin, there's no way you have the damage for Resolution. Maybe if you had Brax and the Reaper Scythe, you'd be able to do it. But no one's able to TP into the shrine because they correctly identified that's exactly where J.Storm is sitting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got to feel bad, man, for Beast. Oh, wow. Speaking of feels bad, man, that's a huge courier that was just killed on the Radiant side. So that was the BKB for Arc Warden, I'm pretty sure. A full BKB. As Vengeful gets picked off, by the way, as the bounty respawn. And that was components for Doom as well. So yeah, that's setting them behind a little bit.
Yeah, that's a very nice snipe. You know, the aim of the game for Beast Coast is to buy time, get as strong as possible, because your high ground defense is, you know, when you have a TA lineup, it does feel like you're very mid game focused. But it's not just a TA. They have a Drow Ranger. This hero now scales into late game better than ever, and they also have the Necrophos of Brax, who's has built this late game item with the Radiance, and is now looking towards survivability in that Lotus Orb.
Doom up on TA. The jumps are real from Moo. He is just on point with just finding such good targets time in and time out. 7-1 and 13. This Doom is proven to be a very worthwhile first 2 pick for the side of J.Storm. Just all 3 cores, really the TA and Necrophos specifically, are so susceptible to that. We've seen it several times this game already. And Arc Warden's now going to TP in, at least with the Tempest double. Get some tier 3 tower damage in. Try to force a buyback here.
Yeah, she does have the buyback, but obviously does not want to use it.
Double damage.
I think Beast Coast might just give up this lane of racks. They know how important this buyback is, because without the MKB, there's this TA is going to be useless against the bubble, against the butterfly. So as we see here, they're just holding on to that money. They know it's more important than defending this lane of racks. But if they have 2 lanes threatened, then I'm not sure the trade is worth it.
No, you have to defend it. Absolutely one is fine, but they got to start thinking about getting back now. And 20 seconds on the TA, but can you really wait this out? This is going to be such a close call. They're trying to cut the creep waves, but no, it's coming in bottom, so They're going to be fine there.
Dire's
They are going to
middle
give up
tower
2
has
sets of
fallen.
racks in the end because she's not buying back now. She has 5 seconds left.
I mean,
Dire's
look at the
middle
base
barracks
for the
are
side
under
of Beast
attack.
Coast. See all these spark wraiths. This is what playing against an Arc Warden is like. You know, no one can get in position for the initiation. Oh, and meanwhile, they found Eternal Envy over here.
Yeah, well, Crystal Mana goes down first, but Eternal Envy, that BKB is going to be running off soon. Runs inside the bubble. He Hurricane Pikes over the ledge right there. Going to be fine. Nyx Assassin buys back. Royo's got his own BKB activated, trying to man up against the Arc Warden. That's not going to work too well, though. The BKB is going to be wearing off any second. Brax comes in at the last second himself. He still has that ultimate. It fits as well. Continuing to use it on the Reaper side onto Arc Warden. Gets him taken out. He's out for 110 seconds. Hell of a fight for Beast Coast looking right now, or is it? Brax all of a sudden taking plenty of return damage, but Ryoya cleaving down. And 3 are currently dead for the Radiant, but Moo comes back in with a huge Centaur Stomp, gets the 1 kill. They're going to finish the job. Double kill for Fear when it's all said and done. The combo of Doom and Crystal Maiden comes through to finish the job. It looked like Beast Coast finally had an opening in a fight. And the last laugh goes the way of J.Storm.
Yeah,
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
it's just Beast Coast. They thought they could pull off that fight, but the buyback from Fear really turning around the end of that fight. The Reaper Scythe on top of the Arc Warden, but his Tempest double. You know, you killed the original Arc Warden, but there's another one of him there.
Dire's
He
middle
put out
barracks
so
are under
much damage
attack.
with both of his heroes, and then you know the unlikely duo. You know, I'm very excited to see this new cop show of Doom and Crystal Maiden, the unlikely duo together, but they just clean up the end of the fight.
Yeah, several times now. We've seen it. Moo and Fear doing work, and that's going to be the range racks
Dire's
going down
middle
mid lane
barracks
as
are
well.
under attack.
So
Dire's middle barracks.
the
The one
top
thing
lane
I
will
d-
be fine.
The one thing I do have to say is you did see Beast Coast there. They do have some ability to take a fight.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
if that fight, if they'd been able to take it, you know, while the 5-man of J.Storm were going into their high ground, it probably would have gone so much better for them because Fear wouldn't have been able to get in. Obviously, you have the high ground advantage, but it's just because they lost these 2 lanes of racks, they have to take these bad fights, and also because Eternal Envy was found as well.
It's so much of this game absolutely comes down to just the jump of J.Storm, whether it's the Doom, whether it's the Kunkka initiation. Getting those jumps before BKB specifically are activated is what the crucial key is. But as 5, if they were to just run an as 5 and pop BKBs preemptively, absolutely, I think Beast Coast has a great shot in these fights. And in fact, by breaking out right here, Mood, there's a Doom used on Drow Ranger this time around. They do have a Shrine. Gonna pop it. March up here as well. Borrowed time activated. Crystal Mana goes down in the backlines, though. And that is a dieback on her, by the way. She's out for 100 seconds. Swap. That's not going to be enough. They do get the kill on Drow Ranger in the end. The swap all for now from Mike's Mike. He eventually falls as well. They also got Templar Assassin. It went too deep. Arc Warden shows up. And you can tell when he does, that damage is real. Brax also locked down. Well, so much for that. Maybe not the fight that Beast Coast wanted. It all started because they ran after Crystal Maiden. It backfires. GG's are called. J.Storm will take game 2 and thus the series as they move on to the winter finals.
Yeah, it's that fight over that, the Templar Assassin committed for this Crystal Maiden, knowing she doesn't have buyback. But while she was doing that, the rest of her team were absolutely getting slaughtered. I guess she thought the Drow would be more survivable than she was. And no one from the side of Beast Coast, they weren't willing to buy back into that fight. I think the call was we'll hold high ground, and then they just accepted that there's no way they can win this at all.
The opening picks again. It's really with the Doom and Abaddon in response to that first pick, Drow Ranger, and yeah, it's hard to justify if you're Beast Coast. Not just saying that Drow was the issue, because I don't think she 100% was, but man, back-to-back games where she just struggles and has what feels like zero impact. It's going to be hard to see them draft even in another series against a different team, making it such a high priority.
I don't think the Drow herself was the hero. I just think J.Storm, you know, they've correctly identified the exact way to deal with this hero, and it's just run a tri-lane against her, let her get nothing early, and then she never hits the timing where she's that dangerous. And massive MVP here to Moo. They dual laned against this man, but as soon as he hits his level 6, he turns everything around, kills Brax, and it felt like all his initiations were spot on.
100% agree there. Moo was definitely that. 10-1 and 19 score. Obviously, fantastic farm. Almost had a Shiva's finish. That's the time the concede came out. You look at all 3 cores, too. All 3 cores only died once each between Arc Warden, Kunkka, and Doom. So, again, just the tri-core setup. Moo going back to the offlane role, at least from what we saw today. Clearly comfortable for him. It seems like things are feeling pretty good. This is a scary J.Storm team after what we saw in the series. Again, only 4 teams as you got Complexity and Young Drug Gaming. The other 2 currently duking it out. But J.Storm absolutely, I think you could say the favorite even going into this event right here. But they'll have to prove it. They'll have to earn it. They'll have to do so in the following matchup, which will be on this stream. That's the winter finals. Who they're playing, well, we don't know yet. From what I can tell, Complexity is up 1-0 over Young Drug Gaming. I'm guessing they are currently in game number 2. Nothing's showing, actually, so maybe that one is finished. Well, we'll try to get confirmation there and see what we're dealing with. But point is, the finals, or the winter finals even, will be on this stream here. And then the lower bracket matchup of Beast Coast versus the loser, of that other match will be on stream number 2. So you can check out both. But anything else before we go into the break? See what's going on here?
Not really. It's just J.Storm, as you say, that they're looking, pretty angry that they didn't make it to the major. Their play really seemed very, very good. Like, not just in the laning stage itself, but even more so the coordination afterwards. They were just bringing more people to fights. They were taking definitely the right fights, and they just seemed to know what they had to do to be winning the game. So very impressive from J.Storm, and I'm really hoping Beast Coast are able to show us some more, because it'll be a very sad thing for Team to have gone from being this wonderful, miraculous story of qualifying to a major to not even making it to the next minor.
Well, it's not easy, especially, of course, NA only getting the 2 slots now to the major and the 1 to the minor. Very limited, goes without saying. You certainly got to earn it here. They're still alive. That's the point. We're going to go on a break, though, figure out who J.Storm is playing in the winter finals. We'll have that information for you shortly. Once again, thanks to DX Racer for supporting this event. This, of course, being the StarLadder ImbaTV Dota 2 Minor Season number 2, as we got the NA Qualifier action on BreakyCPK, joined by Hasbaz. Stay tuned, guys. We'll be right back.